When you're job hunting in a recession, you need an edge, and a man named Alec Brownstein found one. He bought ads on Google listing the names of advertising executives he wanted to work with. So when they Googled themselves, they would find a link to his resume. It worked perfectly. Alec was hired by Ian Reichenthal, and they are both with us this morning to tell us the story. Good morning.
Good morning.
So you were in advertising, right? Did you lose a job? Were you out of a job? What was going on?
No, I was currently working,
Right.
but I wanted to work somewhere different. I wanted to work at Y&R New York
Right.
for some creative directors like Ian and Scott Vitrone.
Right. So you knew the guys you wanted to work for.
Right.
How did you come up with this idea then?
Well, I was doing a little bit of research on who I wanted to work for, and of course I was using Google.
Right.
And I noticed when I Googled their names that there were no sponsored links at the top. There were no ads there.
Imagine that.
And as someone who Googles myself sort of embarrassingly frequently, I realized that if someone were to put something at the top of my results, I would
Right.
probably notice it.
Okay. So, and what does it cost to take out one of those ads?
It depends on the keyword that you're taking it out for.
Right.
If you're taking it out for something like lawyer or dentist or something like that, you have to pay a lot to get the top result.
Sure.
But when you're dealing with something like someone's name like Ian Reichenthal or Scott Vitrone, if nobody else is bidding, and apologies for that, but if nobody else is bidding, I got
Right.
the top result for about 15 cents.
15 cents, and all of a sudden you bust through the entire bureaucracy at Young and Rubicam, and and your resume is like right on his desk.
Well, that was the hope.
Well, it worked. So you Google yourself one day.
Well,
It's
actually,
probably the first time you ever did it.
I will admit on TV that I have Googled myself before, but in this case, actually, a friend of mine had sent me an email and said, "Hey, have you Googled your name recently?"
Right.
And I said no, and when I checked it out, there's Alec's ad at the top.
Right, and because people, when you Google, you notice that there are ones at the top, that there's a little kind of a color background, and that's a paid advertisement. That's not just part of the random search. So you see this thing, and your friend tells you about it. Do you think you had a stalker?
I thought it was great. It was so unusual and fun and just really simple, a simple idea.
Right.
It's just the kind of ideas we were looking for.
All right. So you look, you go to the link, then you look at his stuff, and what
Yeah.
did you think?
He's got a great portfolio too. So it wasn't just the Google ad. His work was great. So,
Right.
We brought him in for an interview.
All right. So you bring him in for an interview. You hire him. How long have you had him? Has he worked for you now?
It's been a few months now. How
Yeah.
long now?
And is
January.
this a good idea or a bad idea?
It was a good idea.
It was a good idea. All right. When someone does something as extraordinarily creative as that, isn't your expectation for him to be able to sort of continually drum up ideas of that same ilk?
Yes, the expectations are high for Alec.
And what have you done for us lately?
I'm working on a few things.
Yeah.
I'm working on a lot of the clients at Young and Rubicam and trying to achieve. Well, maybe I can come back and we'll talk about some of my new ads, and then I'll have achieved the same.
You have
success with
to
those.
figure out a more creative way to get in the door.
Maybe I'll buy some Google ads for your name.
Very expensive. Alec, Ian, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Cool
Thank you.
stuff. Really appreciate it.
A lot happens early on The Early Show, weekday mornings on CBS.